Hello everyone, Novabug here, and a little bit of a waffle I think. I was going to regale you with some tales I think, of something we don't see often nowadays, which is more commonplace back at the turn of the century more, and in the late 90s as well. They're still around, but not as frequent, and I don't think used as frequent either, because most of us have PCs and gaming networks, and we've got extensive remote play nowadays, and the internet, and linking us all up with multiplayers, online multiplayers and things like that, and gaming networks and all this kind of stuff. And back then this kind of stuff was in its infancy, so we had to rely on internet cafes for that kind of thing, and a lot of us went to internet cafes to use the computer anyway. Like mid 90s all the way, early 90s, I think they started off around that point, in popularity, and then all the way through the 90s into the 2000s, and then that sort of dwindled off as PCs got more and more affordable, and we got more in our homes, and the software got more affordable, and everyone got more used to the internet and the World Wide Web and blah 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 blah. But it's a fond memory I have of them couple of years when I was going to one particular internet cafe right here in Pinner, where I'm currently residing, and a few of my friends, I still talk to some of my friends that I used to hang around with at the time, and yeah, we got up to a bit of mischief now and then as well. The place was called Chaplin. It was called Chaplin Video and Internet Cafe. So it was actually a video shop. It had videos, VHS all over the place. I'm thinking about it now. Grey carpet. And people hiding under the video racks, and we had that kind of stuff going on. It was mad, and you had a bank of PCs. I, for the life of me, cannot remember their spec now. I know they were quite good at the time. This was 96, 97, 98, 97 primarily, and it was particularly focused around. We went there for the camaraderie, of course. I think a lot of us were college mates as well. A few of us from another college, and then we all met at this place, and that's how we got to know each other through playing 3 games in particular. And some of them descended into absolute chaos. You can imagine local network play. One even ended up in a bit of a nasty fight, but we'll come to that in a minute. But I think we had 4 or 5 PCs all lined up on one side of the wall, facing towards the counter. And the counter was in the corner over there, and then you had the server. So you had all computers, and all the computers were obviously linked, server controlled it, so you could all network play between the 5 of them. I'm sure it was 5. Sure it was 5. It could be 6. I think it might have been 6. I think there was 2 behind the counter. Now thinking about it, yeah, definitely there was 2 behind the counter, and there was 4 on the wall. So, and I think the first time I went there, this was the first time I got my, as a side note, this is the first time I got my, when I was going to this place, I got my first ever mobile phone, which was a Motorola MR30. And I loved that phone, and it was one of the first mobile phones to have text messaging on it. Wow! What's this thing? SMS? Don't know, I haven't got a fucking clue. And I still don't. But we meet up, and then we go down there. Initially we went down there, and we were doing chat rooms. We were fucking around with the chat rooms. I mean, I'm talking about this is my late teens. I was in here, late teens, early 20s, yeah. And we were fucking around with the chat rooms, Yahoo Chat in particular. The exposed to what would now become known as trolling and internet bullying and cyberbullying and all that. I know that's quite dark and serious now, but back then, it was all we had no clue what was going on, and we were just ripping the piss out of people, and they were doing the same to us, and all the stuff, all that kind of gear. And but it was the games that really kicked things off, and the guys that ran it, I can say this now, the place closed down years ago. They used to do night lock-ins, Friday night and Saturday night lock-ins. So when the place would close to the public, we would go in. I think we gave them a couple of quid or something like that, and we could bring our beer in, put it in the fridge, which was full of Coke and Pepsi and Tango and that stuff. We put our beer in it, hide it behind all the bottles of Tango and 7-Up. And then we'd spend 3 or 4 hours of the night just there. It was epic. I think, what time did it used to close? I think it used to close about 10 o'clock. And we used to stay on sometimes until about 2 in the morning, sometimes even later, hammering away games. And like I said, particularly 3 of them. They had a selection of PC games there. And I think one of my best friends, he loved the Dungeon Keeper. I think that was from the later years. Dungeon Keeper came out there. But this was also the year, 97, that a certain franchise came into our being. GTA. And we got to play GTA online networking, and that was an absolute blast. At the time, I really didn't know what I was doing. Because it seemed so weird, it seemed so set back. It was like a game that should have come out years back before. It looked so simple on the outside. The original top-down view, it looks so simple, and I thought, that's a lot of crap, this thing. But once you get playing it, you realise it's fucking epic fun, and pissing around and trying to attack each other, find each other on the map, and complete the missions before another person, all that kind of stuff. So we had a lot of good times on GTA, the original GTA. But like I said, that came on the later years. That was like 98 kind of thing. I stopped going around 98, 99. I can't remember. My head is a bit of a mush on it. To be honest, I think I stopped going when I met my missus. That would be 98, 99, something like that. 99, I'm sure it was. She'll kill me. But like she did then, and that's probably why I stopped. You know, girlfriends, they'll always change you. But the 2 games that really, really stood out, and one of them is my still one of my favourite games nowadays, and that's Command and Conquer Red Alert. And before this, I had no idea of the RTS style game. I mean, I had sort of, SimCity is kind of like that, isn't it? And a bit of Civilization, of course, before that. But this was the first time I really, really got into it. And I didn't even know the original Command and Conquer existed. We didn't have a PC at home at that time. All we did, it was just a crap one. So we didn't have any games. And I think the only game we had on it, actually, I'll show you. I've got it here, believe it or not. It won't play now on my current PC. Lynx 386. Lynx 386 CD. This would work if I can get it running on DOSBox, I think. Still complete. Still got all the bloody voucher codes in it and everything. Anyway, enough about that. But that's the kind of games we were playing, golf games and simulations and stuff like that. We couldn't play anything like Grand Theft Auto or Command and Conquer, because the PC just wasn't powerful enough. But these things we had, they had Windows NT on them, and they were playing so fast at the time. I remember I'd never seen a computer that anybody had at home at that point running that fast. So only the ones at college, which I'd left a couple of years previous to that. So we were playing Command and Conquer, and that was the game that really everyone just loved Command and Conquer, and we all had different tactics. We all had spamming tactics, and we always preferred being what side and what colour, and obviously troop names, and how we used to ally with someone on the quiet, using the on-screen message, and then you betray them. And it happened to me lots of times. In fact, we had tournaments, and I entered a tournament, and it came to a head-to-head between me and one of my friends, Hugh. And he was well known for being pretty good at the game, but he was known for somehow amassing a massive, massive army. And he did it in a recordly quick time. I don't know how he did it so quickly. I think he built like about 7 war factories or something to manufacture these tanks so many. And he would just have swarms of allied tanks. And before you'd even know it, he was on you. And then when you saw that what he was doing, say for instance you were the allies and you saw what he was doing and you try and pinch him in, he'd somehow sneak 5 Tanyas around the back of your base, the bastard, and blow the fuck out of you. But we got into a bit of an argument over that, because we did this ally thing against someone else, and then I think he turned on me initially, so I remembered it. And when we played again, I just went straight in. I literally just took my first battalion of tanks and went and rolled him over and blew up his construction unit before he'd even have a chance to deploy it. So you can imagine he was rather pissed with me. But I just love that game. I still love it to this day. And it was one of those, it's like when you look at that to GTA at the time, you think it's so much more advanced. It had all the speech and the sound effects and that wonderful little entrance video that it had. And the full motion video, the actors and everything on the missions. We never used to do the missions a lot, to be honest, at the Internet Cafe. We used to do the skirmishes and create your own maps as well. Then we'd have 5 of us playing, sometimes 6 of us playing at the same time. They're supposed to be working behind the counter, but they're playing playing Grand Theft Auto sometimes, but they're playing Command and Conquer as well. So, that's one of my favourite ever memories. From bygone era almost, Internet Cafes. Doing that was just fantastic. The other game was it was one of those games this is when I was into this genre, and since then, since the second incarnation of this game, I really fell out of love with this genre, and still to this day do not like this genre that much. I do play the occasional one occasionally, but the way everyone bangs on about it, and it's such a replicated genre, and you know exactly what it is. It's FPS. And you got the CODs, and you got the Battlefields, and the blah 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 blah, and it's so much. But this one I loved, and I still loved, and that was Quake. And especially the online Quake, the networking Quake. And we had the patched deathmatch levels as well loaded into it. DM4, that was what Deathmatch 4 was, the one with the circuit with the. It's like a good well ditch in the middle, and it had levels that go spiral up. And the one that we had was also we had the weapon hacks as well. With do you remember the chain gun? Not the chain gun. The lightning gun. It was called Thunderbolt, because a zap of lightning came out of it. You had also that mixed with the chain lightning gun, so you could chain it from people. If you hit one of your man for frag, then it would chain on to the next person that it saw in view, which was just devastation central, absolute devastation. And that level also had the gravity well, which was we had to climb on the wall to get it. But if you got it and then set it up in the main hall, everyone come running and it just gets sucked into the gravity well. And it was, I think all of us managed to do that at one point and just absolutely crease up laughing. But the point when we didn't, and I can't remember his name, but there was a guy that used to come, and he kind of wasn't part of our clique. Him and his mate used to turn up, and this is going to sound really like nasty bullying, but it can't. We didn't think about it like that at the time. When I look back on it, it kind of is. But at the time, it was just, we're a group and we all know each other, and we all banter, taking the piss out of each other all the time playing games. And these two come in, and all they want to do is play games. And we didn't outright have a go at them or anything. We just didn't really include them in our clique, which I suppose is pretty nasty. But whatever. Kids, you do that when you're a teenager. But one thing he was a clever bastard, and He knew things about these games. I think he definitely had a PC at home. He knew things about these games that we didn't know. More specifically, how to hack them as you play them. And Quake obviously has a drop-down code thing. You can access this in Quake. You can type a command, and it drops down a command list, a cheats list. And if you know the right code, like a invulnerability or something like that, you can type it in and it'll activate. Now this would normally happen on the mission modes, but there was a way to do it on network play as well. I'm sure some people are going to know about this, and please put in the comments about how you do this, because I've completely forgotten. But he used to do this and we did not know at first. So we come every night, have our Quake tournaments, we'd all have a Quake battle, always have a Quake battle. And then we were getting this guy, and we were all sort of muttering between the 4 of us, I think, at the time. There was a group of 4 of us playing, and him. I can't remember his name. And we all had beer, and we all tanked up a bit, and there was a few other guys in there just having a bit of a banter. And one guy, rather large for our age as well, he was a big chap. I think he was a trainee boxer at the time. Stephen, I think his name was. Anyway, we're playing the game. And I thought, well, I'm going to corner him. I cornered him and literally blasted him in the face with the rocket launcher. Now, I know that would kill me as well, and it did. Didn't kill him. Right in the face. And he didn't have the red or the green armour. He didn't have, I knew this, he didn't have the 200% health. And even if he did, that would have massively damaged him. And it didn't. He just seemed to walk away, and I thought, what the fuck's going on here? And I said to what's going on here? What's going on here? So at one point, I think we all managed to get a shot off at the same time towards him, and he still just carried on running excuse me, hiccups. Still just carried on running around. So what our host did at the time, the bloke who was running the shop, he said, right, I'm gonna look, see what he's doing, because I think his computer was just like over the counter. So I'm gonna watch what he's doing, and he sort of sneaked up behind him and did all this business like this as we were playing. And he had his camcorder with him. We used to take a camcorder with us at the time. I remember we made some videos. I can't find any of that material now, and neither can any of my friends. I've asked them, and God knows whatever happened to that. Might turn up on Harry Hill might dig it out somewhere in 2020. Who knows? Look at these bunch of twats in this ancient internet cafe that doesn't longer exist, and it's an Indian restaurant now, by the way. There was next door was an Indian restaurant, and when it closed, I think it closed in 2000 or something, 2001. They bought the shop, they knocked through, flattened it, and then the whole thing's now just an Indian restaurant. I digress. So this guy was doing this code. So it was the God mode code. We worked out it was the God mode code. So he was putting the God mode, so completely invulnerable. And it wears off after a certain timer. So basically he's cheating. And the reason why he's winning all the tournaments all the time is because he's cheating. And we weren't having this. We were not having this, and we weren't particularly happy. Should we say rational in our thoughts? So we confronted him. Well, one of us confronted him, and the big guy, like I said before, confronted him as well. And he denied, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything, I'm not doing anything, not doing anything. And we all got cans of beer and bottles in our hands and stuff. And his mate, I felt sorry for his mate. He's just sitting there shitting himself, thinking, "Oh fuck, they've worked it out. You know, we're rumbled." So some of us picked this guy up. We fucking threw him out the back door. He went legging it, but the big guy, he legged it after him, and we all just bundled out. All of us just bundled out the back door. Fucking chaos. I think the owner of the shop he was doing his pieces, and we all bundled out, beer and fucking flying everywhere. And one of us actually, I think, turned to his mate and said, "Here, hold me beer, mate," and fucked off. And then so his mate was sitting there holding one of my mate's beers. Anyway, so we all got round. We actually went round the front. We went down the alleyway at the back of the shop, and we went round the front onto the front parade in Pinner High Street. This is about 1 o'clock in the morning, and the geezer, the big guy, he's giving him some smacks. Real heavy smacks, and we were like, no, that's enough. I'm like, he's on the floor fucking crying now. And then my brother came in, he says, right, that's enough, and he split him up like that. And you know, oh, everyone back, and I thought he's being rather peaceful. You know, at the time he wasn't the most peaceful character, but he's been very, very mature and peaceful at this point. We've all had a drink. He's like, that's enough, and we all sort of backed away. The big guy went back, and this guy's cowering on the floor like this. And as he turned around, my brother went, boom, like that, and just fucked off. And when you look back on it, and when I tell the story now, it sounds so nasty, and it sounds like gang bullying, it really does. It was a complete one-off. And it stemmed from the game, and how passionate we got over the game. And the fact that we were being cheated. It was just, so, I get over it now, of course. There's many times I've been cheated since some games, and yeah, whatever. I'd normally just turn them off, like that fucking cunt that was on excuse, I never say that word on my channel. I do apologise. That's one word I don't say a lot. It proves I don't like the guy. But anyway, he ruined. He's one of the guys that hacked Mario Kart Wii and basically ruined it for everyone. That's why Nintendo shut the network down on it. Because every time you went on Mario Kart Wii online at NFC network, it was just fucked because you had people running in the sky and flying and spinning around because there were so many hackers on it. But anyway, again, I'm going way off in different stories here. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you that story and a few others about Internet Cafe and my Internet Cafe days, should I say. Good times they were. They were good times and good memories. And I think I learned a lot. I learned a lot to keep my temper at the time. You know, I had the row with me mate over CNC, and then we did the thing with this guy over Quake, and for a couple of months after, we still used to go to the lock-ins. We used to play Quake. Quake 2 came out, I think, at one point. It was in '98, Quake 2. Can't remember. I remember it coming out. And eventually it just sort of dwindled away, and we all sort of went our separate ways. As you do, you progress. You know, I met a missus, and a few of us others moved away and went to different colleges and stuff, universities. And I think eventually the shop closed. They tried to open another branch, I think down the road in Watford. and that kind of didn't work out well, and I think it was about 2000, 2001 where it shut, and that was the end of Chaplin's chapter, as it were. But for what it was a nice little internet cafe, and I spent some good times there. Yeah, so I'd like to know if did you any internet cafe stories to share? What kind of games did you play? Did you play any games which you'd never played before at home? Did you go to an internet cafe regularly? Did you meet someone important, or that kind of thing? Any stories? Because I'd like to hear them. Video response, if you fancy, that's up to you. But if not, stick them in the comments, or don't say a word and just click a like button and just say thanks for the story, no bug, or anything you want. I don't know, you know I'm like, I'm easy and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a shame that camaraderie of internet cafes is not really around nowadays. I mean, you get them, but it's just students going there to check their email and a bit of social media, isn't it, nowadays? You don't see... You still get the scale of that kind of internet cafe abroad, don't you? You still get it in Japan, massive internet cafes in Japan, and they're probably in America as well. But in Britain, not so much. Not so much. They are hit and miss, and now and then you have a place. But you know, back then you had one on every bloody street, every high street. We had at least 4 or 5 computers in, and they were network playing and that kind of stuff. And it's not that common nowadays because of obviously modern tech and networking and all that kind of stuff that we've got in our homes nowadays, and wireless, of course, and all the gubbins that comes with progress. But is it progress? Well, it's progress technologically, but you know, for socially, it's not really progress, is it? That's why I prefer things like that. Hence a retro gamer. What are your thoughts? I'd like to know. Thank you for listening to me talk for 20 minutes, or how long? 25 minutes? I'll probably be completely wrong now if you look down at that counter. But anyway, cheers. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Novabug out.